going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here. And what if I told you do not sell your HX 170 GPUs yet 8 or 10 gigabytes, because they seem to be getting unlocked and they're going to become kings when it comes to AI compute. So you may have noticed, if you are a Pearl miner, a pretty decent spike of hash rate happened on Cryptex right here, where it pretty much went straight up. 16.8 exahash is currently what they have online here. The price has also been going down steadily since it, due to the fact that it is converting everything into Bitcoin. So it is 100% sell pressure here. Now, just coming into wherever it is, Lords of Pearl here, we can see the network. Here's the spike. It's currently sitting at 48, so it was around 50 some exahash. Looks like some hash rate is coming off here, but the point here is there's an unlock available, and the HX 170s are now mining Pearl at a decent hash rate, and there's quite a few of these 170 HXs out in the wild. And here we can see they're doing about 140 to 124. There's some out there showing about 160 to 180 terahash, depending on the version, how stable it actually is. So here is a Google post right here. So the NVIDIA CMP 170HX can potentially be unlocked to 40 or 80 gigabytes of memory via software exploits targeting NVIDIA's Falcon security processor, though results vary by specific hardware batch. Now, the software unlock tools like CPU Unlocker on GitHub aim to remove firmware enforced restrictions, restoring the full A100 compute throughput and memory capacity on Linux systems using the NVIDIA Open Driver. Memory stability, while some Hynix versions originally 8 gigabytes, reportedly unlocked to usable 64 gigabytes. So you imagine that these things are being sold, and you guys always thought you only had an 8 gigabyte card. It does technically have the full memory on there. It's just been hidden and locked away, and now there's like these exploits to allow it to use a usable 64 gigabytes, and Samsung versions, originally the 10 gigabyte version, can unlock up to 80 gigabytes. That is massive. That is way more than a 5090 here. So, but suffer from instability. So that's the major thing here. How stable are these going to be based on the model you possibly have? Now, I don't have any of these GPUs, so that sucks, but they are cheap right now, but the price is definitely going to start skyrocketing on these right soon here. But requiring clock drops are limiting usable memory to 40 gigabytes. So I kind of messed that up in the middle of a sentence by talking there, but you can kind of see the main gist here. Now, hardware reality. The card uses HBM2E stacks. Unlocking does not add physical memory, but reveals disabled or defective stacks that were fused off by NVIDIA. Success depends heavily on the specific card silicon quality, with many users finding only a portion of the potential memory is stable. So keep in mind, these are bad batched A100s that got transitioned into crypto mining and heavily nerfed. So all the good memory went to the A100s, and they put all the garbage crap stuff in the HX 170. So this is allegedly bypassing software restrictions and firmware restrictions and opening up the access. But because that memory is the crap memory, it might not work very well at all in the first place. So it is based on silicon lottery. Some might have better ones, some might have bad ones. So keep that in mind, where this may work on some and may not work at all on others, or at very low clock speeds. And here we can see the word is actually starting to spread. So here we have Rod, sadly, for reals, I sell my 170 10 gigabytes, and 2 days later an unlocker appears. WTF. That sucks. And then if we keep scrolling down here, you know, Discord is blowing up on this. Here we have a screenshot of these are selling for $1,100, the CMP 170HX with fans. So mine sold really fast too. Lamo, they knew, like LMAO, they knew. So people we're selling it. I could have sold for $500 at this point now. Yeah, for sure. So people have been selling their HX 170s. They've been selling pretty fast. And right now they're coming up like crazy. Now here, OMG, people are dropping 1K on them. Seems risky, 1100 even. And you know, if this blows up, and depending on silicon lottery, like some will work, some probably won't because of that silicon lottery, then we could see these GPUs possibly hit $2,000 or maybe $3,000, you know, if this really takes off. Because imagine these things running at 40 to 80 gigabytes. I highly doubt anyone's going to see the 80 gigabytes, but maybe on the Samsung, like I said, is the better memory. Maybe they will drop up to like 40 gigabytes or something. And that'd be insane when it comes to the actual AI processes. Maybe getting these things on Vast AI and other platforms could cause huge demand for people. Now, with that being said, if you are looking to get into AI compute like Vast AI, Octaspace, Chlor AI, things like that, the whole hash rate rental services, I do have a working, easy, set it and forget it type of installer here for $19.99. Rabid's all-in-one AI installer, ISO. Here you pretty much put it in. It'll install Ubuntu all by itself, and then it'll install Vast or Chlor, depending what you pick. It'll do all the network testing to make sure you have a good enough internet speed. And then upcoming soon, I do have Akash, Non-Santa, Octaspace, and stuff will be coming soon as well once they are ready. And the upgrade to the new ones will be free, no extra purchasing at the time here. So one-time purchase, and then you can install multiple rigs over and over and over again, and it makes life extremely easy. So if you're not sure how to install Vast and stuff, obviously this will make your life extremely simple. So I just wanted to point that out if you're looking to get into the AI systems. Coming back in the Discord, we see people are all over Claude right now. Claude is saying it's fake news because 10 gigabyte. Here's Claude doing his thing, just basing everything off specs, not realizing what's going on. So you got to feed it a few more prompts to understand, so Claude realizes what the whole thing is. Here it looks like, back again, cannot resist. FYI, someone is reporting some issues with the unlocker under Hive OS versus pure Linux. So doing the unlocker in Hive OS looks like it doesn't seem to be working perfectly versus using straight Linux on its own. So who knows? A lot of stuff going on. Secondhand report, but worth a try for those adventurous souls. So people are out there, the word's out there, people are talking about it. Some people are excited, some people aren't because they sold. And again, remember, this is almost like a lottery where your cards might not do this at all, depending on the memory you have in them, as they are garbage memory to begin with in the first place versus the A100s. But don't get me wrong, they still have that HBM2E memory, which is extremely good and in high demand, but just how great that memory actually performs is not the greatest compared to, the straight the V100s, the GPUs that these are actually cut from. So this is pretty much a bunch of information all over the place. Again, if you have any more information or you want to follow this, I'll keep you guys updated as I hear more. But let us all know your side of the story and what you have heard down in the comments section. I will see you guys on the next one. Rabid out.